Hello, this is Dr. Do again. This video is outside of medicine. Continue to read the Iliad by Homer. I'm going to continue to read. Now, he will make more slaughter, well I know. He'd never be at the front, smashing our lines, unless old Thunder Zeus had put him on his feet. So, come friends, do as I say, all take my lead. The rank and the file go back, withdraw to the ships, but we who claim to be the army's finest champions stand our ground. Face him first, try to beat him off. Spears at the ready for all this fury. Trust me, he will quick before he penetrate our front. Sound tactics. The captains hung on his words and all fell in line. Squads forming around great Ajax, King Idomeneus, Teucer, Meriones, and Meges, your match for Ares, close tight for the onset, calling all their best to brace and face Prince Hector and Hector's children. Behind them rank and file withdraw to Achilles' ships, but packed in the mass the Trojans come on pounding, Hector leading the way with long leaping strides, and heading the van in person came the god Apollo. Shoulders wrapped in cloud, gripping the storm shield, the tempest terror, dazzling tassels flaring along its front. The bronze smith god of fire gave it to Zeus to bear and strike fear in man, and Apollo gripped it now, looked in his two fists as he led the Trojans on. But packed in a mass, the Argives stood their ground, deafening cries of battle breaking from both sides, as weeping arrows leaped away from bowstrings. Showers of spears raining from daring, hardy arms went deep into soldiers' bodies, quick to fight, but showers of others cut short hallway before they could graze glistening skin. Stuck in the ground, still lasting to sink in flesh, long as Apollo held the storm shield firm in his grasp. The weapons hurtled side to side, and man kept falling. But once he looked the fast Achaean drivers square in the eyes, shook the shield, and loosened an enormous battle cry himself. Apollo stunned the high courage in all their chests. They lost their grip, forgot their frightened fury, rotated like herds of cattle or big flocks of sheep, when two wild beasts stampeded them away in terror, suddenly pouncing down in their midst. Pitch darkness, the shepherd off and gone, so the defenseless Argives, panicked, routed. Apollo hurled fear in their hearts, and handed Hector and all his children instant glory. These men killed men in the mad scatter of battle. Hector finished Stichius, finished Arcesilaus off, the one a chief of Boeotians armed in bronze, the other brave Menelaus, trusty comrade. Aeneas slaughtered Medon, and Iasus outright. Medon, the bastard son of royal King Oileus, little Ajax's brother. But Medon lived in Pylos, banished from native land. He'd killed a kinsman, dear to Oileus' wife, his stepmother Arepius. But Lassus became a captain of Athens' troops. Sphelos' son he was called, and Bocolaus' grandson, Pylodamas, killed Mecistius. Polites cut down Aetius, first in the onset. Dashing Agenor cut down Clonius, and Paris lanced Diotrus deep below the shoulder, ran him through from behind as he fled the front, and a bronze spear came jutting out his chest. While the children tore the war gear off the bodies, Argives clambered back in a tangled mass, scrambling back through the sharp stake and deep pit of the trench, fleeing left and right, forced inside the rampart. So Hector commanded his children, sounding out new storm the ships, drop those bloody spoils. Any straggling I catch, hanging back from the fleet, right here on the spot I'll put that man to death. No king, no women commit his corpse to the flames. The dogs will tear his flesh before our walls. With a full shoulder stroke he flogged his horse on, losing a split wall, crying down the children's ranks, and all cries back in answer, a savage roar rising. Driving teams and chariots close in line with his, and Apollo far in the lead. The god's feet kicking the banks of the deep trench down with the god ease. Tumbled earth in the pit between, bridging it with a dike immense and wide and long as a hurtling spear will fly when a man makes practice casts to test his strength. Holding formation now, the Trojans rode across it, Apollo heading them, grappling the awesome storm shield. And he tore that Argive rampart down with the same ease some boy at the seashore knocks sand castles down, but he no sooner builds his playthings up child's play than he wrecks them all with hands and kicking feet, just for the sport of it. God of the wild cry, Apollo, so you wrecked the Achaeans' work and drove the man who had built it up with all that grief and labor into headlong panic and rot. Achaeans stumbling back till they ran in hard, bottling tight by the sterns and shouting out to each other, flung their arms to all the immortals, each man crying out a prayer. But none as rapt as Nestor, Achilles' watch and ward, who stretched his hand to the starry sky and prayed, Father Zeus, if ever in Argos' golden wheatlands one of us burned the fat thighs of sheep or bulls and begged a safe return, and you promised with a nod. Remember it now, Olympian, save us from this ruthless day. Don't let these Trojans mow us down in droves. So he pleaded, and hearing the old man's prayers, Zeus, who rules the world, let loose a great crack of thunder, rending the skies. But Trojan, thrilled at the sound of Zeus' thunder, pitched themselves at the Argives still more fiercely, summoning up their fury lust for battle. Like a giant breaker rearing up on the raging seas, crashing over ships' sides, driven in by the winds, and the blast builds the cumbrous crushing impact. A hoarse roar, Trojans stormed over the rampart, lashing their teams to fight against the ships. Hurling their two-edged spears at close range there, Trojans from launching cars, but Achaeans from high decks, scrambling aloft backhauls, lounged down with the long pikes, jointed and clinched and tipped with the reaping bronze they'd kept on board for bloody fights at sea. I'm going to stop here today and continue next time. Thank you for watching.